Collecting collectibles and cards is something that seems so incredibly trivial and harmless, though there is a dark side that needs to be unpacked, which millions of collectors around the world can relate to. And as we dig deeper into this video, I believe you will also be able to relate. Whether you're collecting Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic, One Piece, Dragon Ball Fusion World, whatever it is, they can all become quite addictive, and this can become quite problematic if left unchecked for a few key reasons. You see, card collecting and collectibles and any sort of collectible memorabilia that requires you to open packs runs on a risk to reward ratio. Whenever we rip open a pack of collectible cards, we immediately engage in a wager. The risk is that we can obviously hit nothing and lose money, though there is also a chance of reward, which is, pulling one of the rare collectible cards. And the reward can be actually quite big. Sometimes a pack that costs $4, $5, or $6 can hold a card that's worth hundreds of dollars inside the pack. Though, just like gambling within a casino, the odds are stacked against you. Though every time you engage in this behavior and you pull one of the chase cards, it triggers dopamine within your brain, which is the reward chemical inside your brain. Now, sometimes pulling the chase card can also become quite a disservice, as it can set off a spiral of addiction, which I will uncover in just a moment. And also, I just want to say, if this is the first time you're tuning in, I just want to say, hi, I'm Philip, and I run a video production and marketing business, and I've worked in marketing for over 7 years and filmed major brand advertisements for brands all across Australia, and I have an immense love for collecting Pokemon cards and collectibles. This channel features topics relating to Pokemon cards and collectibles. By subscribing, you'll experience the benefits of staying up to date with Pokemon TCG news and life experiences I share. I see myself as a pretty honest and open book, and my intention is for you to grow as a person by consuming the content I create. So definitely feel free to subscribe, as I'd love to have you on board the channel. Though, moving forward, relating to the topics of addictive behavior and card collecting, it's not that Pokemon cards or collecting any sort of cards is inherently bad, right? Though it can affect certain individuals who are more prone to addiction, like myself. Now, while ripping packs of cards may seem like a harmless activity, it can become far more complicated when you go deeper. You see, collectibles have had a generational shift in the last decade, so much so that they've genuinely become interwoven within our life, and most people now understand that collectibles have a place as investments. We see this with everywhere, from sports cards to Magic the Gathering collectibles, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, video games. Literally everything has become a collectible. It's not like, oh, this is just a piece of cardboard that's rare. Now the potential cards that can be drawn out of a pack can be sent to get graded and be worth thousands of dollars. Collecting cards isn't just now about hitting rare cards. Now there's a potential financial gain that can come from pulling rare cards. And they are aware of the more difficult the pull rates, the better the payoff will be for the individual ripping open the packs. Now, what's really important to understand is that we are in a completely different era for collectibles, and difficult pull rates are now the norm. Though these difficult pull rates not only make the pack opening experience more difficult, but they make it far more rewarding, and a byproduct of this is that it also becomes far more addictive of an experience. I mean, the game has completely changed. So if we look at Pokemon as an example, right? The chase card back in the 1999 era was the first edition base set Charizard. This was the golden card to pull back in the day. Now, do you know what the chance was to pull Charizard in the original base set? The data varies, though you're looking at around a 1 in 45 chance to pull the Charizard. Is it rare? Yes. Impossible? Definitely not. You could say that if you bought 3 booster boxes back in 1999, which would equal 108 packs, that you'd be quite a decent chance of pulling the Charizard. In fact, the odds would be highly in your favor. Compare that to modern cards and you're in a completely different landscape. It's not the same game at all. Like, look at the Umbreon VMAX. That is the modern chase card of today's era. Now, while the pull rate data isn't perfect, from what we can estimate, pulling the modern Umbreon chase card from an Evolving Skies pack is around 1 in 1,600 packs. Meaning, if you bought the Evolving Skies packs at retail price at $4 each, it would cost you roughly $6,400 US to pull the Umbreon VMAX, and that's not even guaranteed. Now, these astronomical odds obviously create an incredibly exciting pack opening experience, because if you hit the desired card, you've literally hit the jackpot. These pull rates also make the cards become far more valuable, with some cards exceeding $300 or more in value straight from the pack. Though here's the problem, right? So you could say opening a booster box is pretty harmless. I mean, if you've got the budget and you bought it and you ripped open the box, it can be a very enjoyable pastime. In fact, if you can manage your budget and all your expectations, I'd even argue that it's a great hobby that can bring a lot of joy in your life. I mean, sure, it's an expensive hobby, but so many hobbies are expensive anyway, so there's no real issue with that. Though here's the problem. As humans, we also have a thing known as dopamine, which is the reward center of the brain. And every time we hit an expensive chase card, our brain lights up and fills us with this pleasure chemical, and it's also responsible for motivation. This chemical is responsible for us taking decisive action in the world. It's the chemical that propels us for our goals. It's the chemical that makes us feel alive. It's what dictates so much of our life, though the more we don't respect dopamine, the more we harm ourselves. We are already in an era where our dopamine is being competed for. We actually live in a very challenging time where a lot of us are prone to depression and other issues, and it's not even our fault. It's more the world we are living in is becoming increasingly difficult to navigate. Though while we have our love for our phones, our video games, and our general lifestyles that compete for our dopamine, we don't really have much bandwidth for allowing something else to stockpile, as we don't have the resources to handle this. So while for others opening packs is a harmless hobby, for specific individuals who are prone to addiction, this can become very dangerous of chasing dopamine hits, because if you pull the chase card, well done, you've lit up your brain and you'll feel invincible. You feel motivated. You feel ready for life. It is great. But what if you don't? Well, this is where you are now left at a crossroad. You can either move forward and get over it, or you can go buy another booster box and go try and hit a chase card, which a lot of people do. And now you can see the problem. And this is where self-control is incredibly important, as our dopamine is being depleted. Our brains literally cannot function. From our phones to watching Instagram reels, I mean, you name it, our brains are being exhausted. And this has caused something known as digital dementia, which is a term used to discuss the cognitive changes we experience that give us dementia-like symptoms because an overuse of technology. So Jim Quick, the brain research expert, has a great book about this called Limitless, which I really highly recommend if you feel like you're experiencing this. The most important skills in combating this difficult arena is knowing yourself. Because if you know what your weaknesses are, it becomes harder to fall in that area. I mean, one of the biggest skills that I encourage you to learn is highlighting your weaknesses. Journal, ask yourself the hard questions to see where your shortcomings are. You see, I'm not gonna act like I don't like opening packs. I love opening packs. In fact, I've ripped packs open on my channel, though I've also learned a few skills such as restraint. The thing I really want to highlight is there's nothing really wrong with opening packs. And the same goes, there's nothing really wrong with eating dessert at a restaurant. The problem comes if you cannot control yourself in the long term. And this is a skill that every collector needs to learn. I mean, I know that a lot of you that watch my channel, you've seen me rip open packs, though you may also notice that I love doing giveaways when I rip open packs, because I have done the work and I've journaled and I know something about myself, and that is I love giving to others. It actually fills my soul. It makes me feel like I'm contributing to the world in a positive way. So even if I don't get the pulls, I'm still incredibly happy that my video was able to create some joy in someone else's life, and I also know it provides value to others and just want to chill out and watch someone else rip them. Though in saying that, I also have huge limits on myself, and it's taken me a long time to get in this position. Now I want to highlight something that I think is really important. Life is not black and white, and there's always room for moderation in life. If you love opening packs and it gives you joy in life, well done. You should be incredibly proud that you have a hobby that brings light into your life. Though if you are getting yourself into debt over Pokemon cards and chasing dopamine hits, then it would be good for you to take a break. You know, a lot of people don't speak about these topics, and there's also this mysterious and uncomfortable truth relating to collecting that no content creator ever touches on. And the exact specific issue I'm talking about is revealed within this video on screen right here. Within this video, I uncover the topic of Pokemon collecting and a lot of the challenges people face when trying to add to their collections, and how easily they can over leverage themselves in debt. If the topics of this video resonated with you, you'll definitely want to check out that video. Click that video that's appearing on screen right now and we'll talk more about that topic there.